Paper. Fragile, light, easy to burn or tear. Yet this humble invention reshaped the world more than gold ever could. Paper created banks, funded wars, built empires, and connected continents. But behind every note lies a promise, and every promise comes with a price. This is the story of paper empires, the rise of notes, banks, and global finance. Our journey begins in China, during the Tang and Song dynasties. Merchants, tired of carrying heavy coins, began using written notes as proof of payment. The government saw its power, and by the 11th century, China printed the first official paper money in history. Lighter than coins, easier to move, paper transformed trade. But it also carried danger. Too much printing led to inflation, and trust was fragile. Still, the idea had taken root. Money could exist without gold or silver. Through the Silk Road, the knowledge of paper money traveled west. The Mongol Empire, vast and interconnected, spread the use of notes across Asia. Marco Polo, astonished by what he saw in China, wrote, "All this paper is issued with as much solemnity as if it were pure gold or silver." Yet Europe was slow to trust paper. Centuries of tradition tied wealth to metal. Still, as trade expanded, the West would have no choice but to follow. While paper spread, another revolution was quietly unfolding in Europe: banking. In Renaissance Italy, families like the Medicis pioneered financial systems that changed the world. They created double-entry bookkeeping, letters of credit, and international branches. Banks no longer just held money. They created it. With a stroke of a pen, wealth could move across borders. This was the beginning of finance as we know it. In the 17th century, Sweden issued Europe's first paper banknotes. Soon after, in 1694, the Bank of England was founded, not just to safeguard deposits, but to finance government debt. Banknotes became promises, promises backed not by gold alone, but by trust in institutions. The world had entered a new era. Money was no longer just metal, but belief. Paper was power. Nations discovered they could print their way into war, and sometimes into ruin. The American colonies issued paper continentals to fight the revolution. France printed assignats during its revolution, only to see them collapse into worthless scraps. Napoleon's wars were fueled by paper credit. Every note was a double-edged sword, a tool of survival, and a threat of collapse. By the 19th century, banks, credit, and paper money tied the world together. The Industrial Revolution needed capital. Railroads, factories, ships, all financed by banks. Telegraphs carried transactions across oceans. Stock markets rose in London, Paris, and New York. Paper was no longer local, it was global. Finance itself had become an empire. But with power came peril. In Weimar Germany, hyperinflation turned savings into ash. Wheelbarrows of money bought only a loaf of bread. In 1929, Wall Street crashed, plunging the world into depression. Paper gave nations flexibility, but it also unleashed chaos when trust broke. The lesson was clear. Money was no longer just about gold or paper, but confidence. From fragile notes in China to the vaults of global banks, paper empires shaped modern civilization. They built industries, armed nations, and tied economies together in an invisible web of promises. But paper would not rule forever. A new force was rising, invisible, instant, and digital. Join us in the next episode, Invisible Money, the Age of Credit, Cards, and Digital Currency. To learn more, visit www.ajecoin.io.